Good day, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Brody Miller, and I'm here to talk to you all about the life-changing science of neuroplasticity. I believe with all my heart and soul that learning about neuroplasticity saved my life. I don't say that lightly or with any doubt. That's why in today's video, I'm going to tell you my story of recovery, define what neuroplasticity is, how it works, and give you 5 evidence-based methods to boost neuroplasticity in your brain. Around 7 years ago, I had brain surgery where doctors removed a cavernous malformation in my left frontal lobe that was about the size of a cranberry. Even after the surgery, I was continuing to have about 3 grand mal seizures a month, and I had difficulty completing simple sentences. At the time of my surgery, doctors told me that the brain was fixed and that I was going to have to live with the symptoms that I was experiencing. I felt depressed, angry, and hopeless. However, once I discovered the healing powers of neuroplasticity, everything changed for me.
Amazing!
But what is neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity can be described as the processes that support the creation of new connections between neurons and or the alteration of existing ones. It is the ability of our brain to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout our lifetime. Now, without any further ado, I will speak on how we can use 5 evidence-based methods to boost neuroplasticity in your brain and create more resilience and mental flexibility. Number 1, practicing meditation and mindfulness. These practices can help us to gain greater awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and can help us develop a more positive attitude towards stress. Mindfulness can also help us reduce activity in the amygdala, which is part of the brain responsible for our fear and stress response. Speaking from my own personal experiences, I believe meditation helped save my life. In the past, I was very impulsive and had issues with drugs and the law, but meditation allowed me to create new neural connections in my prefrontal cortex, allowing me to better manage my impulsiveness. And number 2, creating a positive attitude. We can create a positive mindset, but neuroscientists estimate that we have 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those thoughts are negative and repetitive. It is also a scientific fact that every thought we have releases a specific set of chemicals into our brain and body. That's why we must be intentional in choosing the thoughts we are thinking. A positive mindset can also help us reduce activity in the amygdala once again, further protecting us from the effects of stress. And number 3, practicing deep breathing. Deep and slow breathing can serve as a nervous system reset by helping us to reduce our stress levels and increase our overall resilience. It can also stimulate the vagus nerve, the largest nerve in our body, which is a key player in the stress response, and help us to reduce inflammation in the body. Number 4, we can practice self-care. This includes prioritizing sleep, getting enough sun, exercising regularly, setting realistic goals, doing one thing at a time, and taking regular breaks in our workday. Every single one of these activities has been proven to activate positive neuroplasticity pathways in our brain by releasing powerful neurotransmitters into our system. And number 5, we have to be aware of what we eat. Nutrition is essential for our brain, how well it functions, because on a cellular level, the nutrients we digest get processed all throughout our body and brain. I previously made a video, so make sure that you check it out in the description. Now I would like to point out a few common misconceptions about neuroplasticity. The first misunderstanding is that neurons physically touch each other, and they don't physically touch, but they communicate from signals called neurotransmitters in the synapses when they find that specific point. Another misconception is that neuroplasticity is always good. Neuroplasticity can be bad, to be frank, because it's called maladaptive plasticity. I'll explain a few examples, and the first one is addiction. Your brain will literally change in its result to exposure to negative stimuli such as porn or cocaine. And your brain will wire together and continually to crave and expect higher levels of dopamine. But when that is unfulfilled, people experience high levels of depression and anxiety from the withdrawal. So you are literally become more impulsive due to negative neuroplasticity with addiction. Another example is if you have had nerve damage to your neurons, because they'll literally adapt and create chronic pain. The neurons fire as if there's always a painful stimulus, even if the tissues have healed already, but the neurons will continue to fire and give that signal even though what had originally occurred is no longer happening. There are many studies between the relationship between depression and chronic stress. In animal models, for example, chronic stress that is unmanaged leads to atrophy, the weakening of the synapses in the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus. Speaking about maladaptive neuroplasticity, I recently made a video on the biomechanics of stress and what happens to our body and brain when it is triggered by the stress response. Check it out, the link's in the description to learn more. Thank you all so much for listening to this video. If you could, please like, comment, subscribe, because there's somebody out here that needs to see this video, and I'll see you on the next one.